looked at where we can get the dollar, why we need the dollar. Okay, now we want to look at the reasons why we have this issue of the naira being weak. One of the problems right there is oil problem and dollar shortage. One of the reasons why we have naira weak in naira. So for many years, in fact for decades, Nigeria depended solely on oil for dollars, in exchange for dollars. But today, that's not the case, right? Because we've seen some things that have affected the oil production, as it were, for this dollar, for this naira, at least to appreciate. But instead, we are saying that the naira gets weakened. All right, so for decades, like I said, we've seen oil theft has been very, very high in the different spheres. It could be from the offices of even some of these parastatals or agencies that are responsible for oil distribution, oil maintenance, oil production. We also see how bunkering, illegal oil bunkering is ongoing. So it's all part of the oil theft and is getting higher by the day. There's also production instability. We have over the years said that there's a particular limit at which the production volume, the particular volume of production of oil should be, but most times, if not all of the time, it has been very, very low. And so production has been unstable, as it were. There's also the issue of global prices fluctuation coming in from especially OPEC Plus and what have you, the international oil body, that is responsible for fixing prices. So we've seen in one of our episodes where we talked about taxation and all that, part of the budget depending on the benchmark for oil for the year. So this is one of the reasons why that benchmark, fails in our budget, the global price fluctuation. And this means oil money resulting in fewer dollars entering the country. So, where we have these issues affecting oil and of course dollar shortage, definitely the dollar will be shortened in terms of volume, exchanging for our own currency. So we look at before and now as it relates to this particular reason, the oil and of course the dollar flow right now. You see that before we had stable oil outputs, we had more dollars. When we had more stable outputs, the volume of our production of oil was much, much higher than what it is today. And you could tell the reason why our refineries were optimally working back then compared to now, where it's like non-existent. So CBN, what CBN could do right now, because it's one of the things that they have to do, they just have to support the Naira. That was what they did back then. I think that's what they should be doing now. But back then, they supported the Naira, to ensure that the Naira was appreciative. But now, what we see is we have low output, the dollar becomes very scarce, and that leads to the Naira being weak. So it is like, selling foodstuff like Gari, for instance. If rain spoils the cassava, which we get our Gari from, especially from the farm, you won't have enough Gari to sell. I remember during the flood, when we had flood a couple of years ago, the volume of foodstuff production was very, very low. All right. So what we saw then was less product, or in this case, less Gari, because Gari was not less, it became very expensive in terms of the price. And that is why in this particular aspect we're talking about the oil now, is less oil will attract fewer dollars and thereby making the Naira weak. Let's look at another reason why we have a weak Naira: import dependency and inflation. import dependency. When we depend on import, it's crazy, you know. Nigeria imports more than exports. That's a very crazy thing right now in the economy. We import more than our exports. So, and of course, the inflationary effects are seen in food, in fuel, fertilizer, medicines, spare parts, even things grown locally depend on imported inputs. I mean, the inputs are, like we say, machinery, for instance. Do we manufacture machineries here? The answer is no. The tractors and the bulldozers and what have you, you know, we do not manufacture such in the country. So when dollar rises, everything rises, in quotes, you know. To the layman, when the dollar rises, everything rises. All right, so let's look at before and now about this particular one, why local food is still expensive. You know, we talked about this one before, but let's just give you a pictorial mindset about this whole thing. For the fertilizer, when it goes up, you know, the fertilizers, they are imported. Transport is fuel-based. And of course, packaging is also imported. So local does not mean cheap. I mean, we've seen where even some local produced items are not cheap. They are even expensive as well. For instance, your pepper sellers would depend on what's it called now? Fertilizer, which we said are imported. We depend on petrol, which after the removal of subsidy, it became very high. And of course, nylon. How many companies or firms we have in this country that produces nylon? We've seen some produce recently, but when you look at the quality, you will know that there's a difference between what we have here and what we import, you know, from abroad. And that invariably tells you one thing: even with the substandard nylon that we produce here, it's still expensive. So again, when the dollar rises, all of these we just talked about rise as well. So prices, you know, follow the dollar. Prices follow the dollar. That's how it is. Let's look at another factor or reason why we have weak Naira. This one is on salaries, savings, and the pressure coming in from poverty. Salaries, savings, and poverty pressure. So if, for instance, your salary is, let's put it at about 100,000 naira, and it bought you plenty before. I mean, that salary, you could get so many things working for you before now. But today, check it out. Do the math. You will see that that 100,000 naira will buy you less, very little compared to before. All right, let's look at it, you know, categorically. Before, your 100,000 naira could buy you food, could pay your rent, could take care of your transport, and you could even save from that 100,000 naira, you know. But now, the only thing that 100,000 naira could do for you, and it's not like it will solve all of them, is just food and transport. It cannot even pay your rent. I mean, a 2-bedroom apartment now is how much you get, especially when you want to break it down to monthly payments. In some places it's about 40,000. Depends on where you are. If you are in Lagos, the highland in Lagos, you know, like the Lekki aspect, if you want to break down a 2-bedroom apartment, I'm not sure it's even 40,000 naira per month. Some highbrow places in Abuja, for instance, as well. So what can 100,000, and you know, we talked about this thing, we've talked about it over and over in previous episodes. Your salary does not increase, you know, commensurately with prices. Prices, they go up at will, at any time. But your salaries, it will take some time before you see that increase. And so, if you saved 1 million naira in 2020, it can no longer do for you today what it did in that year 2020. So 1 million naira is like today, I mean, when, as at the time you held 1 million naira in 2020, it was something valuable. But today is more or less like 10,000 naira in valuation. That's how bad or how weak the naira has become. So saving naira without growth is risky. So why would you want to save when you know that it's not going to grow you any profit? All right. So these are some of the factors or reasons why the naira is weak. One of them we talked about is oil problem, dependency on oil, but not getting enough volume of oil to export, and then that results to dollar shortage, because the more you export your oil, the more dollar you earn. All right, this as a result of oil thefts, like we talked about, production being unstable, global prices affecting your benchmark, as it were. And we also talked about the import dependency. You know, we depend on import a lot, and of course, inflation bites harder when you do that as well. You know, we've depended on most of the items we see today in operation: food, fuel, fertilizer, medicines, and of course spare parts, especially for those who are doing businesses and those consumers who go and buy as well. We also looked at another major reason why we have a weak naira, as it were, when it comes to valuation of our currency: salaries, savings, and poverty pressure. So when you are dependent on your salary, that is, you know, inflation comes biting hard on it, definitely your salary looks more or less worthless or valueless, so to speak. All right, so these are some of the issues relating to why businesses, why we have our naira getting weak by the day. Right, we'll take a quick break pretty soon, and when we come back, we'll be looking at some other items, some other questions, like, for instance, who suffers most when it comes to the naira being weak, and we'll also look at benefits of, could there be benefits as a result of the naira being weak, you know, and how Nigerians are coping with, the naira getting weak per se, because definitely it will affect every strata of the economy. And then we'll wrap up things right here. So stay with us as we go for this short break.
At DSAG Engineering and Services, we anticipate, manage, and deliver. Since 2000, we have been a leading EPC company, ensuring customer satisfaction through quality service and timely delivery. With integrity, proficiency, and innovation at our core, we provide world-class solutions tailored to your needs. From engineering designs and construction to procurement, manpower outsourcing, and maritime supplies, DSAG delivers excellence. Partner with us today. Visit www.dsag.net or call +23 4807 254 8724. DSAG Engineering and Services, anticipate, manage, deliver.
All right, welcome back from that quick break. And before we went on the break, we told you that when we return, we'll be wrapping up things. And of course, we'll look at who's most affected when it comes to the weak naira valuation. Okay, but before we do that, let's also look at what a weak naira means for the average Nigerian. So in this particular one, we'll be looking at higher prices where inflation bites harder, because Nigeria imports a lot. They do that in, when it comes to food prices rise as well in that particular one. What this naira, the weak nature of the Naira does is that it brings about higher prices, like I said earlier on, where inflation bites harder because Nigeria imports a lot, where we see food price rise a lot, the cost of fuel increase, transport fares go up as usual when you see the rise in prices. And of course, when inflation bites harder. We also see local goods, which I said before, becoming expensive because inputs are imported. Another thing is that salaries lose value. This is how it impacts on Nigerians, as it were. So if your salary stays the same, but the food prices double, rent increases, transport fare triples or transportation, so you are earning less in real terms, even if your pay hasn't changed. And we'll look at how businesses also struggle for small and medium enterprises. Raw materials cost more for them. Equipment is expensive, no doubt about that, and planning for the future becomes difficult. So many businesses, will now downsize or even shut business. So another aspect is education and health becoming unaffordable. We talked earlier about school fees, especially private or foreign-linked schools. The school fees increase as well. Drugs and hospitals bills increase as well. Families are forced, to make tough decisions or choices. More poverty, of course, pressure comes into play, where savings lose value, fixed income earners suffer most, unemployment pressure increases, and of course the weakest feel the pain most. So these are, the effects, what the Naira, weak Naira does to the average Nigerian. All right, let's now look at, we just talked about who suffers most now, about the impact it has on the different strata of the economy. But let's go into the reasons, those who are mostly affected. Fixed income earners definitely are most affected when the Naira devaluates, when the Naira becomes weaker. Market traders, especially the market women, will be affected as well. Small businesses, the SMEs, definitely will suffer as a result of the Naira being weak. Transport workers, those who are in the business of transportation, definitely will be most affected, because definitely Forex, when it comes to the fuel and what have you, oil as it were. Pensioners will also be most affected. So like we said, the weakest feel the pain first, and then the strongest in the society, they adjust fast, as it were. Okay, so are there benefits when we talk about the Naira being weak? Are there benefits? We've been talking about the negatives, we've been talking about the disadvantages of the weak Naira, as it were, because in life there's always the pros and the cons, there's always the black and the white, there's always the yes and the no. So in this particular one, are there benefits when we talk about the Naira being weak? Now, the Naira, or a weak Naira, is not 100% bad. We said it earlier on when we started this episode. Let's look at what's on the screen. Small upsides. So exporters earn more Naira, yeah? Those who export their products, their goods. We talked about the agriculturists or the farmers, and of course those who are into solid minerals. Diaspora dollars go further, yeah? That's the money realized from those outside of Nigeria, helping the economy, as it were. Local products become competitive, and of course, we talked about if we encourage local production. Those who are into local production, there will have to be a kind of competition, whether it is healthy competition or not, but at least there is the competition. Now, let's take an example. If you sell palm oil or gari, as it were, abroad and collect dollars, you gain when you change to naira. Okay? That's the barest minimum of how I can explain this, because you gain when you change to naira. All right, so you definitely, because you look at the volume of what the naira will exchange the dollar for. And so when you export, in this example we give now, gari or palm oil, when the money comes in dollars, it looks like very few. Probably, let's say, by the time you do your business, your trade, you are earning like $1,000. So when you do the exchange, when you do the conversion, you change it to the naira, you know that you are having some good amount of money in your local currency. All right, so let's look at how Nigerians are coping with this issue of the naira being weak. We talked about how things will definitely increase when your naira gets weaker by the day. But as we speak, at least the naira is appreciating. What we used to say, 1,500 or thereabout to the dollar, I think it's now about 1,420 something. I can't remember coming to the studio now. But like I said, the NBS and of course the CBN, they are projecting for 2026, 1,300 and something and some fraction or thereabout. So let's look at how Nigerians are coping when it comes to the naira being weak. One, they are coping via multiple income. We talked about this one in our previous episodes. Multiple income, your side hustle, compared to, especially for salary earners, it will go a long way for you to cope with the pressure coming from a weak naira. Buying local. Now, if you're into business as well, you want to buy from your local market, instead of going foreign. There are alternatives to many products. Instead of you going abroad to import, you could as well buy locally. So that is one way on how Nigerians are coping with a weaker naira. Also, cutting luxury spending. Before now, many persons have been spending a lot of money unnecessarily. That's what we call luxury spending. So what they now do is they cut down that level of spending, which is really, really not good when it comes to your businesses and of course to households as well. So this is one form of how Nigerians are coping, cutting down luxury spending. And of course, family pooling. Now, everybody has to pool resources together. A will bring, B will bring, C will bring, D will bring. They pool their resources together and yes, they go on a survival mission. All right, so that's it for today. That's a wrap on today's episode. I'd like you to join us again for another episode where we will break things really, really simple and nice for you. Like I said, this program, Money and Market, what we do here is to explain to the barest minimum for you to understand all the economics, what the experts will come here and tell you. What we do here is to break them down for you to get a better understanding. All right, you can follow TVM on the go. You can watch, follow, share, and of course comment on our social media pages. You can also reach us via the numbers on your screen. Yes, like I said, you can watch us via TVM on the go on Google, Apple Store, and Play Store, on Google Play Store, beg your pardon. And of course, I want to say once again, thank you for watching, and until we see you again, bye for now.
This is TVM. TVM delivers breaking stories, global headlines, and the moments that matter. From exciting sports action to exclusive local events, we keep you connected. Celebrate our culture, people, and voices with powerful documentaries and inspiring stories. Experience premium entertainment, from trending music to urban lifestyle and beyond. Grow your spirit with life-changing messages and uplifting perspectives. Lead the way with bold conversations, fresh ideas, and thought-provoking shows. Wherever you are, whenever you want, watch TVM on all your devices. TVM, your world, your network.
The prophet Isaiah today promises that when you stop pointing fingers and judging, your light would rise in the darkness. In the gospel, our Lord Jesus calls Levi a tax collector, an outsider, and simply says, "Follow me." And Levi gets up. No excuses, no shame, just a new start, a new beginning. Today, God is offering you the same invitation. No matter your past, you can rise and follow Jesus into healing, into purpose, and into peace. Turn today towards the light. Lord, call me again today, just as you called Levi. Help me rise, leave behind what holds me down, walk towards your light, and make today a new beginning with you. Amen.
This is TVM. TVM delivers breaking stories, global headlines, and the moments that matter. From exciting sports action to exclusive local events, we keep you connected. Celebrate our culture, people, and voices with powerful documentaries and inspiring stories. Experience premium entertainment, from trending music to urban lifestyle and beyond. Grow your spirit with life-changing messages and uplifting perspectives. Lead the way with bold conversations, fresh ideas, and thought-provoking shows. Wherever you are, whenever you want, watch TVM on all your devices. TVM, your world, your network.
Hello, welcome to another exciting episode of On the Couch with me, your homegirl Mara Samuels. I have with me in the studio Comrade Rukeme Ojievujo. I hope I got that correctly. I was not careful enough to say it.
Nah, it's okay. It's actually Comrade Rukeme Ojievujo, so you got it right.
I got it right.
Oh,
wow.
yes, you did.
I'm happy I did. Hi, Comrade. How are you?
I'm good. Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year, my brother. Comrade Rukeme is not just a sweet soul. He's my brother. He's my friend. He's my everything. We've gone way back, or we go way back rather. So
Sure.
it's not, we did not just know yesterday or 2 years ago or 5 years ago. Anyways, that's the story for another day. That's the whole content for another day. Today on the couch, we'll be discussing gender equality. On the couch is a conversational segment where we get to discuss trending topics, matters arising, politics, everything and anything that cares to be talked about. We are live on any of our social media pages: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, now X, YouTube, TikTok. You can message us on WhatsApp, and even the number displayed on your screen. Send us a comment. Let us know where you're watching us from. Let us know if you want to do business with us. Send in your business adverts. Send in your sponsorships, because On the Couch and other of our contents are open for sponsorships, and we would love to hear from you. Anyways, today we'll be discussing gender equality. In our modern day life, we get to, hear people say some funny things. Oh, I'm a woman, I shouldn't do this. Oh, I'm a man, you shouldn't do that to me. So let us even discuss, what is gender equality? First of all, we're going to have the dictionary definition of gender equality, right? Gender equality is the state in which access to rights or opportunities is unaffected by gender. But let me hear from my guests. Comrade Rukeme, what's gender equality to you? Let's
Well,
leave the dictionary definition first. What is it to you?
Well, permit me to say that gender equality is an odoniferous saga. It's a crinkum crackum of the feminine, you know.
You don't say.
Just, I'm just an enlightenment.
Yeah, sorry for the laugh.
Okay, so we find ourselves in a time where everybody considers themselves the same as each other. And I think all this stuff.
Yeah, because we're all humans.
Yes, we are all
Why shouldn't
humans. See, word is, it is not a matter of opportunity. It is a matter of purpose. In the beginning, God created animals, males and females.
Yeah.
But when he created man, he said, let us create man in our own image and likeness. When he created man, it was just the man that was created.
Yeah.
Which means in the master plan of creation, a woman was not, sorry, I do not mean it in the wrong way, so your gender do not come after me.
Whose gender?
Okay, sorry, so the sweet females do not come after me. So in the plan,
yeah,
woman was not included. But the Bible says that God saw.
No,
relax.
Assistant Jesus.
No, that was why I said purpose.
Assistant God.
Of course, I was created
so
in the
you were there. So know the plan.
It is written, my dear.
So no, the plan was not written. You just said that in the original. Is there somewhere you have this?
It's okay,
plan?
you won. But let me move forward.
Okay, now, yeah, let's go on.
You'll find out that.
This is TVM. TVM delivers breaking stories, global headlines, and the moments that matter. From exciting sports action to exclusive local events, we keep you connected. Celebrate our culture, people, and voices with powerful documentaries and inspiring stories. Experience premium entertainment, from trending music to urban lifestyle and beyond. Grow your spirit with life-changing messages and uplifting perspectives. Lead the way with bold conversations, fresh ideas, and thought-provoking shows. Wherever you are, whenever you want, watch TVM on all your devices. TVM, your world, your network. This is TVM. TVM.
Very wonderful morning to you out there. This is TVM's Express, and today promises to be a very important edition. And I won't be doing this alone. I have a special guest who will be joining us later in the program, and I have a very wonderful host with me here this morning. A host with me here today, rather. Her name, Mara Samuels. You know her. So she's joining me today, and we are going to see how we could make sense of today's episode of TVM's Express. So we'll have the usual, newspaper review. Then we'll go into the nitty-gritty of what today is all about. So let's begin with the newspaper review with Mara Samuels. So Mara.
Hello.
Welcome to TVM Express. Mr. Lawrence, you mentioned that they know me already. What makes you think that they know me?
You're popular right now. You
Oh
start.
my goodness. All right, we'll start with Nigerian Tribune. Nigerian Tribune dailies. It says the header that says Nigerians divided over opposition's rejection of new electoral acts. That can be found in page 22 of Nigerian Tribune dailies. Also, you see on the upper side, real-time results transmission. What we learned from FCT polls, INEC chairman, and that can be seen in page 3 of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper. It also says commission. Underneath, it says commission to conduct mock presidential election. All right. That can also be seen in page 3. So to know more about that, you can read through. Down. Okay, so you can see there's a picture there of like a fire outbreak or something, and it says US-Israeli-Iran war. Escalation may increase fuel pump prices. Manufacturing costs, see PPE warns. And that can be seen in page 5 and page 6 of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper. FGAFC signed 1.3 billion alumina deal, and that's found on page 8 of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper. 13 banks weigh last-minute mergers, private placements, foreign partnership options. That's found on page 13 of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper. Power sector debts to Gencos may hit 8.8 trillion by end of 2026. And that will be seen on page 6 of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper. So to read more of these headlines that I just read out now, you can get the Nigerian Tribune newspaper and get through all these pages. And next we go on to Daily Trust newspaper, and the major header there says Iran strike fallout. Shiite protests erupts in north. And down below you see banditry. Over 300,000 displaced in Niger.
Can I quickly say something?
Yes, please.
I'm a bit perturbed at at some parts of Nigerians' affinity with these Islamic states. We've been having issues of banditry in Nigeria. People have been kidnapped, people have been killed. Shiites didn't protest. Now, Iran is having their own issues with the United States of America and Israel, and Shiite is protesting. I don't know what the relationship is, but good luck to them.
Ever heard of misplaced priorities?
The serious.
All right.
Serious
Okay, so this banditry, over 300,000 displaced in Niger states, can be found on page 7 of the Daily Trust newspaper. So to read more on that, go to page 7. And it's unfortunate that we now just say these things and it sounds like it's one of those things now. Over 300,000 displaced in Niger states. It now comes off like, oh well, next, on to the next story. It's unfortunate. And then on the upper left, you see we may not be able to achieve 100% perfect election. Amopiton. That's on page.
Preparing your heart now.
That's on page. It's like I was like, why are these people already telling us the outcome of the general election?
They're preparing you down for what's going
And then on page 6, it says 4 die in Katsina Ramadan arms stampede. Okay, so to read more on that, that's on page 6 of the Daily Trust newspaper. And on page 37, you see chaos at Lagos Abuja airport as FAAN fan begins cashless policy.
Yeah.
I'm surprised hearing that they're just implementing this cashless policy. So you mean for tickets of hundreds of thousands, people still go there with cash to make payments? Yeah,
I think it's not as if they were not accepting cashless, but there was option of cash.
That's what I'm saying. I'm even trying to wrap my head around it. Like, so for a flight ticket of say 250,000, somebody goes there with cash.
Yeah, people who do cash things.
Interesting. All right, we'll go on to the next dailies, the Nation newspaper, and the very first The very big header we have there is ICPC recovers wiretapping equipment from El Rufai. And it says, we got warrants to detain ex-governor for 14 days. He declined to cooperate with investigators. All right, and on the upper side, you see primaries. Parties must operate transparently, says Ami Piton.
Well, I think Ahmed Pitan should focus on making sure INEC operates transparently.
He should just remain in one place and
before
just make sure that.
I understand that it's the electoral umpire, but you cannot be calling for something that you are not giving.
Exactly.
And be asking people to give what you don't give. So if he wants parties to be transparent,
this is going to be the first election in his tenure, so I think he should.
He has conducted one, the Abuja.
That's like, but the general election is going to be like the major election. So I think he should make a very good impression with this very first election instead of.
I hope so too.
And then we see recapitalization. Banks head for 6 trillion naira closure. Banks head for 6 trillion naira closure. You can get the Nation's newspaper to read on that. And then you see on the red line how Tinubu saved many states from bankruptcy by Sule. That's on page 6 of the Nation's newspaper. And on the bottom end, you see Fortune Varsity unveils fees package for students. That's on page 7. Federal government APC signed $1.3 billion alumni deal. That's still on page 7. And on the upper side, you see Dangote's picture. It says, what Dangote traded for? Nigeria's industrialization. That's on page 18 of the Nation's newspaper. And on the top right, you see Nigerians get travel advisory on Middle East. That's on page 7 as well. And under it, beneath it, attempt to carry baby's body blocked at Motor Park. That's on page 35.
To courier, okay. To courier baby motor.
Attempt to courier baby's body blocked at Motor Park.
That's weird.
That's on page 35.
Okay.
I don't understand the plan to this.
They wanted to probably they were transporting they wanted to transport the body of the baby from a place to another.
All right, that's all for the Nation's newspaper. We go on to the next, the Guardian newspaper, and the very big header there says markets jittery as Iran conflict fuel. My duty is to provide. How I get the money, what happens to the money, is not my business. It's not your business.
Mary, because of the way the society is now.
Yeah.
In those days when you come of age, you look for a wife, you get married. You marry the love of your life. And basically you find out that a majority of our parents, they were actually really friends before they got married. And so, communication is not a problem. Marriage was not an issue of procreation alone. It was an issue of, Mary, you and I have been friends for so long. You know me a great deal. And I know you, I love you. Let's take it to top notch.
Let's seal it up.
Let's get married. Let's live together forever. And so in our misbehaviors, we cover ourselves. In our good times, we cover ourselves. And so I can easily not see that I'm not seeing the mother of my children as per a title. I am seeing my friend. And so when these children all grow and they are gone out, I'm still seeing my friend. You just start to now, so you take that time with the place kiss lolo. Good memories being shared. That means that I could bring it down. But you see, because of the pressure of society these days, a lot of people are getting married not because they are in love, not because they're getting married to their friends, not because of anything, but because society demands that they should marry and they should procreate. And it's causing a whole lot of problem out there. And so when you are in a house with somebody who you are just bearing kids with, and away from the children and the sex that you have, there is no other relationship. You now find out that the marriage is short-lived. And so when she's done giving birth to 1, 2, 3, she starts irritating you. Now, let me tell you another thing. A whole lot of young men and a whole lot of young women there are now using their girlfriends as wife and are using their husband as girlfriend. So what happened is that in those times where all these things are beefing up, you now find out that there's somebody there that you can always run to. Oh, I don't like what my wife is doing at home. I don't like what and when you come to that person, the person treats you as a friend. And the next thing you know, something happened by mistake and the other thing, and then polygamy. Because in the beginning, an error was already made. Instead of finding a soulmate or a companion for life, you went to look for the mother of your children. At the end of the day, instead of having them as the mother of your children, you turn them to baby mamas. Problem.
Word.
Problem.
All right, guys. On the couch is still on. We said a lot in a few minutes. We've said quite a lot, and I hope that you're enjoying the show. I hope that you're following. If you're watching us right now, I hope that you are commenting, and I hope that you are telling us where you're watching us from, and I hope that you're also dropping your own opinions. What do you think of gender equality? Is it something that should be encouraged? Is it something that we should scrap? Is it something that we should, just put aside and everybody just live their life? Should we? So that brings me to one important question. In our present day life, most men are threatened, so to speak, or intimidated by a single woman's success. So when a young guy who's well-to-do, right, meets a single lady who's well-to-do, well put together, most of them in this present age are threatened. Why do you think that is?
Okay, we want to do something. First of all, we want to do a small research about men these days.
Yeah.
It is honorable to have an honorable job.
Yeah.
And, be of something important in life. Now, the man naturally is an egocentric creature. A man is too proud.
And why is a woman not proud?
Well, because she was not created out of that context. Now, when understanding is not granted, is when you start feeling intimidated. I will explain. Women these days are, because of the word, what a man can do, a woman can do better. A lot of women are going the extra miles. See, if a man gets a degree, a woman wants to have a master's. If a man has his master's, a woman wants to be a doctor.
That's a power woman.
Yes, it's a very good thing. It's a very good thing.
Yeah.
35% of the majority of young men in Nigeria today do not have an honorable job.
Yes, true.
What they do is cyber criminology.
Yeah.
I'm very sorry. I'm not coming for anybody, but I'm telling you. Money does not make you outspoken. Money does not give you wisdom. Money elevates your status. I'll give you a short joke. Please don't laugh too much. I heard a comedian saying one time that when an illiterate comes in contact with his childhood friends and they are having a discussion and everybody is laughing, the only contribution the illiterate is contributing in that discussion, you'll be hearing was like, Mado.
Not be like.
You understand? And that's because you are not well educated to contribute something meaningful.
Yeah.
So the fact that you have gone to do cybercrime and you're not a millionaire or you're doing something, when you meet a woman who stands out and speaks eloquently and carry herself in so much vigor, bro, you'll be intimidated. Whether you have $1 billion in your account or you have nothing, you will be intimidated.
And then you start hearing them say things like, oh, she's so proud. The girl is proud. Whatever you think you have today, I can buy you. I can buy whatever you think you have.
You see, that's failure. You know? When a man starts using that word for a woman, he has failed already. He has failed already. So if you want to be...
Please, don't be a failure.
No, yes. You cannot... Okay, so what I don't do is, in a relationship, if you and I was in a relationship, what I don't do is let our issues go out the door. No third party should hear about it. Whether it's an issue of money or emotion or whatever it is, we should be able to settle it in the bedroom and, wake up with a smile on our face next morning and say, baby, good morning, yes. Rather than...
This is up,
yeah.
That's how you separate.
Yes, that's how we do, baby. That's how we do. Yes. And so instead of you hearing was like, Papa Jimmy, don't do that.
Yeah.
That is why, in the beginning, a lot of you are terrible people. And allow me to speak to your gender who are even looking for equality.
What gender?
Okay, sorry. I'm talking about the female, the wife. That's what I'm talking about. Now, look, see the thing is, why a lot of women have discovered purpose and they are chasing success, trying to be successful in the society. Now, the word that the kitchen is not the place of the woman, it goes beyond the kitchen. A lot of very, very handful amount of these people are actually looking for these cyber criminals to befriend them. And you are seeing the red signs. You go into a relationship, the guy is beating you, the guy is doing this, and he's insulting your father, insulting your mother. But just because you want to sit in front of a GLK, you want to use an iPhone 17, you want to go to all the club, you want to do the old bully. You forsake the red signs. At the end of the day, what you have are the stories that we have on national television of, did you see one? It was so terrible. He took a knife and sliced the surface of the vagina of the lady, and he cut off his manhood, saying that both of them would no longer function sexually in this time. Guess who died? So when you do not
wait, what?
Yes, it happened. I don't know if you didn't say it.
So wait, hold on. So what was he thinking, that they will both not function sexually if they remain so he thinks after that they will still remain together?
Yes. So no, this is nothing compared to this is nothing compared to the words on the street. It is trouble out there. There is no such word there's nothing called love anymore. You ask people, they tell you it doesn't exist. So when you see a boy who wants to love because he does not have money to buy an iPhone 17 because he's in school, he's not capable.
If you're in school, you should focus on school.
No, when I say he's in school, I'm not just talking that he's going to school. This man is trying to sponsor himself with a little job that he does and is going to school.
That's what I'm saying. If you're in school, trying to see yourself through school, focus on school.
So is it a crime to fall in love while you're in school?
If you want to do, yes. But if you are
you mean love so what you're saying is that love has to do with money?
Love does not have to do with money.
So what do you...
As the countdown towards the 2027 general election begins quietly, though, political actors across the country are reassessing their strategies and strengthening alliances. You heard people decamping from one party to the other. I think, if I can remember correctly, I think the governor of one of the states also decamped to the ruling APC party. You see, so people are reassessing their strategies, strengthening their alliances, and taking stock of their performances in office. That is for those who actually care about that. Some don't care, but some do care about their performance, and some are taking stock. But we are going to turn our focus to Delta states, states in the South region, one of the oil-producing states in Nigeria. Now, it's politically strategic in the South. Governance outcomes and voter sentiments may play a very decisive role in determining the electoral fortunes of the All Progressive Congress. That's the ruling APC at both the states and federal levels of the election. Now, for context, I have to add that Delta State has long been a battleground of political influence shaped by regional interest, party loyalty, and expectations of development. And the current Governor Sheriff Oborevwori at the helm, the administration has rolled out infrastructural projects. Yeah, a lot of infrastructure projects has been going on, social investment initiatives, and economic interventions aimed at improving livelihoods of the common folks of the state. But history has shown most times that performance alone does not always translate into electoral victory. So the key questions remains: will governance outcome be enough to shift political tides or to maintain political tides, whatever the case may be, in 2027? Now, to help us unpack this critical question, we are joined by Honorable Francis Obule, Justice of the Peace. He is a senior special assistant to the state governor, that is to the Delta State governor. So
on political matters.
On political matters. So meaning he's a key figure at the intersection of governance, party strategy, and voter engagement, because they are all part of politics. So he's going to give us, he's offering us key insights to the government achievements, public perception, and also the evolving political landscape ahead of 2027. So thank you for joining us on TVM Express.
Thank you for having me. God bless you. And welcome to 2026.
Yes, the last time
we saw last year.
Last year, yes, sir.
This is a new year.
Yes, sir.
I will also say Happy New Year to all of you.
Same to you, sir. Same to you, sir.
For having me.
All right, let's begin with governance and performance. Now, a lot of people will argue that measurable improvements in infrastructure, job creation, and social services will shape the voter decision in the next election cycle, right? Now, the question is, this current administration of your principal, Governor Sheriff Oborevwori, is there any flagship achievement, flagship project he started, ran through and concluded himself, and maybe has commissioned? Is there any of this project or achievements that this administration has that can directly be linked to improve living standards of the folks of the state?
Well, thank you very much. There's no project, enacted by the governor that is not meaningful to the people. Take, for example, if you go by health sectors, infrastructural development, and all that, they are all meaningful to the people, because before now, we know Delta State for ourselves. If you are going to Asaba, it will take you some hours to get to Asaba. But today, less than 1 hour, 30 minutes, you're already in Asaba. You agreed with me that, yes, he didn't start the project, but he completed it. Okay. One thing is to start a project. The other one is to complete it. There are a lot of projects that he has completed so far, because government is all about continuity. Yeah. Whatever you stop, you are doing and you stop at it, the next person that is coming will take over from there and started these new ones. And that's why you see today, if you go to Ughelli, there's a flyover that is already ongoing there. You go to Agbo, there's another one there. You go to DSC, you go to PTI Junction, even a full runabout.
Delta State seems to be a fan of flyovers.
Yes, now it's a harvest of flyover already. So if you look at all these things, all these ones are started by the governor himself. Wow. Yes, go to Warri Township Stadium now. You will see a new look there. The stadium himself, and other governors have come from these same areas before now. They didn't do anything to it. But look at what Sheriff is doing now. Is making sure that this Warri have a new face of, or a new thought, or a new thinking, or a new ideas that people will say, let's go to Warri and see for ourselves. I remember in those days, there's one man that is, one Frenchman came from France. He was working in a Globe Star. And when he came down from the airport and he get to Warri, he said, is it Warri? This is Warri? He said, I don't believe this is Warri. Because he said, in France, everybody will say, I'm going to Warri, I'm going to Warri. It's like a city of, how do I put it? A city that is well planned, where you can have every good things there.
Okay.
But when he came to Nigeria, he discovered that the place was somehow. But today, Sheriff has changed the narrative of this worry and its environment. So it's a kudos to him.
Okay, permit me to ask. Now it is very obvious. The roads are obvious. I live in Delta State, so I cannot deny that. Yes, fast road infrastructure goes, the governor has actually done very well, very well. So much so that I can actually attest that there are some adjoining streets that
He has done.
Yeah, and they do it in so quick.
Exactly.
Like a couple of weeks, the street is ready.
Sorry to cut you off. Recently, that is my own local government, Sapele local government.
Okay.
I went to Sapele, that was last Saturday. When I get to Sapele, I didn't use my car. The Okada man that carried me, he used me to pass so many roads in Sapele there to connect Ghana Road. I was so shocked to see that those roads had been tied.
Oh.
But people don't know until you go to that area before you know. All these are done by Sheriff himself.
Okay.
And he's going to do more.
Okay, aside from roads now, there are other aspects that I would like to find out to see how far the governor has gone. We're talking about healthcare, education, and very importantly, job creation. I think a lot of his opposition hold on to job creation as one of the problem that the state has had till this moment that was speaking. But how far do you think the governor, or how well do you think the governor has fared in these other aspects, healthcare, education, and job creation?
By the grace of God, all these areas have been taken care of by the governor. If you talk about the health sector, he has taken care of that. Education, you can see a lot of schools being renovated. If you cross the Ogunu Bridge now, look at Kengua Primary School, you see a lot of renovation there. You go to, there's another one again, by opposite to Luke Palace there. The same thing. Most of the schools are being renovated by the governor, and new ones are being constructed. Look at the Southern Delta University at Ororokpe. There are lots of projects that are going on, which people don't know. And we talk about job creation. Yes, there is this youth empowerment, agency that this governor is using. The Superdeck is also doing the same, to make sure that that white collar job is no more there. So if you can engage yourself in any of all this, skin acquisition, then definitely you have gotten yourself employed. But you see, one problem we have is that when they train them, they give them their starter pack. Some of them don't go back to it.
Okay.
Some of them, they sell the starter pack and go back to the street again and begin to look for a job. And let me also say this, the government cannot do it all alone. We as individuals, we should do something. Look at Dangote now. Somebody was telling me one day, we were under this S-handle, where they were building some estate in Asaba. I said, why can't they create industry for people to be engaged? Is it not people that will pay rent to stay in those houses? And somebody was challenging me that why must I say so? I said, no, I am saying it because I am paying. When you see people who finish university, they don't have jobs and all that. Why can't they do something to assist the government? Take for example, I'm coming. When I say it, I now refer to Dangote. Look at Dangote. He brought a refinery. You have other industries that are working, supporting the government. Dangote didn't build any hotel. He didn't build any housing estate. But he's doing something that will make the government that relieve the government of unemployment rate. So we as individuals, like what we are doing here now, you have against some numbers of people here be employed. So the same thing, I am saying that anybody who have the opportunity to do anything, if you go into industries, create an industries, you can bring a machine that will, try to, like in those days, you have Subaya here. This Subaya, they used to do plate, spoon, all those things in this Ogunu. But today it's no more there. So we need all those kind of industries.
I was about to ask that because we have a story that we followed up with one of the universities that the Delta State government purchased some equipment for. We'll take the story. But before we take the story, I wanted to ask, as a follow-up to this, your question about industrialization or people setting up companies. There is also, like particularly in Warri, situation or a scenario where you have companies shutting down or leaving. Now, has the governor or the government, present government, have they done enough in terms of economic policy, ease of doing business? Have they done enough to like make sure going forward? Probably they inherited certain things. Let's assume some policies were inherited that was not favorable to SY business people that were existing. But now currently, have the state done enough to improve the lot of small and medium scale, especially small and medium scale business owners in the state?
Well, what you need from the states, if we must tell ourselves the truth, is power. And that power is from federal. It's not controlled by the state, but the state can generate its own. Okay. I don't know what is the mind of my boss, which is SLSC. He may look into that for maybe second term. Okay. But let me also tell you, before a business can fold up, there must be something. You that is running it, are you running it well? I have no business. I'm a businessman.